Long time no talk, guys. Today's topic is raw meat and raw food in general, and raw eggs and milk. I've talked about vegetables and fruit and all that, so that's that. But I've been wanting to try raw meat for ages now, and the last few months I've been doing a lot of research. And after I came back from Italy, I thought it's time to do it. And the first bite I had actually felt how much more right it is, how much more natural it is, because of the consistency, the texture, the smell, and just how it looks. There's something in me, in my DNA, from my ancestors, because when people used to hunt, they ate the animal raw, and afterwards they may have cooked it to keep it longer. That may have happened. I don't take those paintings of Neanderthalers serious at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's from the media, even if it's a book, and that means close to nothing to me. Same as those pictures from Egypt, all those drawings, means close to nothing to me. So what I felt, one of the first things was strength increase, which is probably because of the creatine inside. If you don't know what it is, it's a supplement also that a lot of people take in it's great living in a city. Bodybuilders take it to increase muscle size and strength, but there's no need if you eat raw meat, obviously. So there's just a lot of benefits to raw food in general. I couldn't think of a raw food example where it would be different. And raw eggs I had already tried, so it wasn't anything new for me. And the proteins are also just a lot different because you have the egg clear and not the egg white. And the egg yolk is soft and it's not hard, which I've read that may also be cancerogenic. Just like if you cook meat well done and it gets brown, it may be cancerogenic, whereas if it's raw, there's so much benefits to it. And if you cook it, you just lose a lot of it. And I also tried raw milk from a farm, freshly squeezed from the morning. However, I did not digest it well at all. I had bloating and something like diarrhea or something, and it's just not for me. However, if you do digest it well, I would recommend to try it for a longer time because so many people get such benefits from it. I'll continue. Alright, so what happened to me actually in the first week of trying raw meat, and this is not to scare you off, if maybe a little warning, if anything, is watch out if you eat bone marrow, because I got food poisoning from it. What happened is that I ate steaks and chicken, mostly steaks actually, but I tried chicken also, raw that is, and that's perfectly fine, organic, everything. I tried a different butchery also, where they sell supposed good quality meat from a butchery called Neuland, which would be New Land, translated literally from German, and it's not certified organic, but they do something differently. There's only a little difference. I forgot what it is. I saw it in an interview, and but it's pastured, so grass-fed, and the eggs are also very high quality. I assume because they are very orange inside, which is how it's supposed to be. But what I tried is eating the beef leg and the bone marrow inside of the bone. So it was this white substance, and it actually tasted really good. And I had ate also chicken bone marrow, which was fine, which is very little quantity-wise in comparison, obviously, because it's a thin animal. And people in Africa also eat bone marrow once they hunt animals, so there's nothing new about it. But for whatever reason I got this bacteria called Campylobacter enteritis something. I'll write it in the description. And what I actually got was one of the rarest cases, where more rare than others. People usually don't get this, is that my muscles stopped working, and it took me a month now to actually get fully recovered from it. I couldn't really open the door, I couldn't baby's coming, mama, and all kinds of everyday things, and that made me feel really behindert, which is crippled? No, I forgot the word, whatever. And I was sort of worried, but only a little bit, because I didn't really take it that serious. And I actually talked to a trainer, and she said that many people got completely paralyzed from it, and some people even die from it because it goes in the heart, and the heart is a muscle and makes the heart stop beating. So those are really bad cases. So in that sense I even got lucky. I couldn't run, couldn't skate because the legs weren't really working, and I watched a video about it. It's just the immune system fighting against the bacteria, and it's in the joints, the muscles, and that's why there's inflammation. It just stops working, sort of. So it was still partly working for me, so that's why I wasn't that worried about it. Okay. So now that I think about it, I probably scared off a lot of people to ever even try it, but that's your thing. I read online that I'm not the first one who got it from bone marrow. I've never read or heard of any cases from proper organic steaks or whatever. So what I want to recommend is this guy, David Getoff. He made this presentation, which I watched, and also parts of it were really compelling. If you watch my health series, which I made last winter, then about 50% of it will be already, you will already have heard of it, understood it. But there's just a lot of other stuff also that he talks about. It's hands down the best video information wise as far as nutrition and health goes that I've ever seen. And it's close to 6 hours long, and I watched it in parts, and it's really worth it if you're somewhat interested in health and you want to understand why you're sick, or somebody you know is sick, or how to get the healthiest possible. It's really worth those 6 hours for your life. Whatever age you are, you may still be able to improve. And he talked about, for example, pork. I don't eat pork. I don't like the taste, and there's just something wrong about it. I used to eat bacon, but I also stopped doing that. It tastes fantastic, bacon. Other parts taste really weird. I don't like them at all. I could never also imagine eating raw pork. It's just because even the cooked pork is just weird. And he said that whatever stage the meat was in, uncooked or cooked, whatever, rare, well done, it was somehow cancerogenic to the body. No, his exact words were that the blood of the human who ate it looked like it was that of a cancer patient. So I don't eat it anyway, so that just put me off even more. So I wouldn't even occasionally eat bacon now if somebody offered me. Not that anything is gonna happen, but if you would eat it weekly or so, or every day. Probably many people do. Breakfast bacon. Then watchy outy. So we also talked about cats, for example, allergies, because I'm allergic to cats and rabbits, and he has this generation of cats who've been eating raw meat for 9 generations, and 6 of his patients who are allergic to cats, they were not allergic to those cats. And he said that it has to do a lot with actually the animals and what they eat, rather than us necessarily. It's probably a bit complicated, but that made me really think about allergies and stuff. Seeing a spring is coming up, and last year I never had those spring allergies, as I said, first spring in 25 years. So we'll see how I will do with this raw food diet, because last spring I wasn't eating, that's why I didn't have any allergies. Not doing that again. So just a lot of interesting stuff about how when you eat carbohydrates, as in sugar, that's what it is, then your white blood cells get reduced to about nothing for like however many hours, depends on the quantity, 3 to 4 hours, and your immune system is just down to nothing in that time. So again, a ketogenic diet for the most part would be recommended, eating all that stuff. I've talked about it enough. I'm not gonna think of anything else, but after you watch that, maybe you'll consider yourself. I'll keep you updated on how this raw meat thing goes. If I would get food poisoning from a raw steak, organic, which I trust, then I would stop it and start eating rare meat, because I don't believe that anything ever could happen from rare meat. I mean, something could always happen, but 0.1% of the time. And that's simply because it's just too much of a risk then, but I don't believe that's going to happen.